Hello students of class 7. Today we shall do chapter 4 adjectives. Now what are adjectives? Adjectives are describing words that give some additional information about nouns and pronouns. Now what are nouns? Nouns are naming words which are used to name either name, place, animal or thing. And pronouns are those which are used in place of nouns to avoid repetition in a sentence. Pronouns can be of two types, common nouns and proper nouns. Now, as given in your textbook, let us do find the synonyms of the given word to fit the puzzle. Loyal is faithful, vacant, empty, real, artificial. But this is an antonym of real. It is not a synonym. Synonym means similar in meaning. So this is given wrong in your book. Real is the antonym of artificial, not the synonym. Number 4. Old, elderly, huge, gigantic, polite, humble, poor, destitute, clever, intelligent, quiet, silent, beautiful, charming. Now, certain suffixes are added to adjectives, nouns, and verbs to form other adjectives. Now, what do you understand by suffixes? Suffix means which is added after the word. Prefix means before. Pre means before. So suffix means after and prefix means before. Now, certain suffixes are added to adjectives. What are adjectives? They are describing verbs. Now, certain suffixes are added to adjectives, nouns, and verbs. What are verbs? Verbs are doing words to form other adjectives. Now, like to the word plenty, we can add full, it becomes plentiful. To the word duty, we can add full, it becomes dutiful. To the word beauty, we can add full, it becomes beautiful. Now, we can also add the suffix OUS to marvel. So, marvel becomes marvelous. Adventure, adventurous. Famous, from fame. Now, we can add the suffix Y to fun. It becomes funny. We can add the suffix IC to hero, which becomes heroic. To academic, it becomes comes from academy. Next, LESS, fear becomes fearless. Shame becomes shameless. Now, ISH can be added to child, which becomes childish. Fever becomes feverish. Now we can add the suffix ly to the word entire, which becomes entirely. To the word full, it becomes fully. Next, if we add the suffix ive to product, it becomes productive. To relate, it becomes relative. Now, able, able is added to depend, it becomes dependable. Enjoy becomes enjoyable. We can add the suffix ed to annoy, which becomes annoyed. Trouble becomes troubled. We can add the suffix en to wool, which becomes woolen, and swell becomes swollen. Now, for practice, I have given you a small exercise. Add suitable suffixes to the form. So, beauty, beautiful. Now, children, this exercise is based on the previous suffixes which I have taught you, what all can be added. So, you do it on the basis of that. So, beauty becomes beautiful, boy, boyish, cloud, cloudy, delight, delightful, fever, feverish, sleep, sleepy, danger, dangerous, mud, muddy, attract, attractive, cheer, cheerful. Silk remains silken. Embroidery becomes embroidered. Crowd, crowded. History, historical. Use, useful. Art, artistic. Wool, woolen. Whole, wholly. Artist, artistic. Child, childish. Now, children, I hope you have understood how the suffixes are added to various adjectives, nouns, and verbs, and how they change with the suffixes which we have learned now. Now, children, there are 6 types of adjectives. Adjectives of quality is the first one, which is used to describe a kind of quality of a person or thing, like whether the person is a smart boy, or a good girl, or a brave soldier, or a sincere student, So, adjective of qualities will describe how the noun is, how the person is, how the thing is. It describes its quality. So, these are the adjectives like good, smart, brave, and sincere, which describe these qualities in a person or a thing. Next, we come over to adjective of quantity. It quantity means how much. So, it tells us how much of a thing is there. It is used for uncountable nouns. What are uncountable nouns? Uncountable nouns are those nouns which we cannot count. Now, supposing you have two pencils. Now, you can count one and two pencils. But if I say count the amount of sugar in this packet, sugar is an uncountable noun because there are grains of sugar. You cannot count the grains of sugar. You can weigh sugar in kilograms or in grams. So, these adjectives of quantities are only used for uncountable nouns. Example, any, some, little, much, enough. Next, let us try out one from your grammar book. Make adjectives from the words given in the brackets and fill in the blanks. Now, every citizen needs to fulfill their dash duties to support the nation. The adjective, we have to make an adjective from the word patriot. Patriot, patriotic. So, every citizen needs to fulfill their patriotic duties to support the nation. Number two, the dash deeds of the Indian Army and the Air Force helped us with the Kargil War. Hero. Now, if you add the suffix, what is the meant by suffix, children? Which we add after the adjective, noun, or verb. So, in this case, it is hero. So, we add the suffix ic to hero, and therefore the heroic deeds of the Indian Army. Number three, be dash to what your colleagues say, some for better coordination with them. Attend. Now, be attentive. Now, attend becomes attentive. Number four, a team of dash people can come up with new ideas that can ensure the success of an organization. Create. Now, if we add this suffix IVE to create, it becomes creative. So, a team of creative people. Number five, a dash animal like a dog or a horse can help you in ways you can't imagine. Faith. Now, faith is a trait. So if I add the suffix ful to faith, it becomes faithful. So a faithful animal. Number six, the mariners are dash and capable enough to deal with any challenges. Bravery. Now, children, we know bravery is an abstract noun. So, from this word, we get brave. The mariners are brave and capable enough to deal with any challenges. Number seven, his dash initiative broke the ice between the two parties and they readied themselves to work together. Courage. Now, children, what do you mean by broke the ice? Broke the ice means there is some hostility or there is some misunderstanding or discomfort between the two parties. That is called breaking the ice, means breaking the discomfort. No, there's no such thing as breaking the ice between the two parties. That means just breaking the discomfort or the misunderstanding between the two parties. So, courage becomes courageous, where we add OUS as a suffix to the word courage. Now, try out two. Match the given adjectives with the antonyms. What are antonyms, students? Antonyms are opposites. So, what is the opposite of shy? Shy means being very introvertish, not being able to open up. So, what is the opposite of shy? It will be bold. Bold means being very confident and not being shy. Next, number two, transparent. Transparent means you can see through. You can see through. This is a transparent curtain. That means you can see through the curtain. You can see the other side of the curtain. Now, what will be the opposite of transparent? Opaque. Opaque means supposing the curtain is solid, you cannot see what is on the other side of the curtain. I'm giving you an example of a curtain to describe what is transparent and what is the antonym of transparent, which is opaque. Number three, honest. Children, as you know, an honest person is a person who always speaks the truth. So, what will be the opposite of honest? Deceitful. Deceitful means a person who always tells lies and is not a truthful person. Number four, neat. As you all know, opposite of neat is untidy. Number five, hardworking. The opposite of or the antonym of hardworking is lazy. Number six, Talkative, quiet. Talkative means a person who talks too much. So what is the opposite of talkative? A person who doesn't talk too much or who is quiet. Now children, we come over to the third kind of adjective, which is adjective of number. Adjective of number states how many persons or things are meant or in what order person or thing stands. Adjectives that state the exact number of the noun are called cardinals. Example, 5 apples or 3 books, where the number is being specified. They are called as cardinals. Now, those which show in what order things stand are called ordinals. Example, the first day of the week, the fourth month of the year, the fifth student in the line. These are all ordinals. First, second, third, fourth, these are all ordinals. Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on are called cardinals. So adjective of number states the exact number of the noun or in what order the things stand. Now, a few examples of adjectives of number are all, many, few, some, but they do not indicate the exact noun. Adjectives such as each, every, either, and neither are used when the persons or things are taken one at a time. You have to keep this in mind, children. When do we use each, every, either, and neither? When the person or things are taken one at a time. Example, take each day as it comes. So we are taking one day at a time. Therefore, we use the adjective of number each. Now, something which is very important to keep in mind is adjective of quantity is used with an uncountable noun and adjective of number is used with countable nouns. Now, for example, we have sufficient data. This is adjective of quantity. Why? Because data cannot be counted. But we have sufficient pencils is adjective of noun because we can count the number of pencils that we have. Next, we come over to demonstrative adjectives. Now, what do demonstrative adjectives do? They indicate which person or thing is meant or whom we are showing. Like, what are the words which we use to show or demonstrate? Demonstrate means to show. So, the adjectives which are used are this, that, these, and those. Now, demonstrative pronouns and demonstrative adjectives are identical, except that a demonstrative pronoun will stand alone, while a demonstrative adjective is followed by a noun. Now, for example, that smells is just a demonstrative pronoun, where that is used as a demonstrative pronoun in the sentence. But that book is good. Demonstrative adjective that is followed by the noun book. So, this is where the difference comes between demonstrative pronoun and demonstrative adjective. So, you might be given questions where you have to identify whether these, this, that, these, and those are demonstrative pronouns or demonstrative adjectives. How will you do it? If it is followed by a noun, then it is a demonstrative adjective. Otherwise, it is just a demonstrative pronoun. Keep this in mind, children. Next, we come over to possessive adjectives. What do you understand by the word possessive? Means own, you own it, ownership. They are used to show possession or ownership. It answers the question whose. Example, my, your, his, her, its, are, and their. Now, a possessive adjective is placed before a noun. There is a noun, you place a possessive adjective before a noun, while a possessive pronoun is used in place of a noun. Can you understand the difference, children? Let us do an example. This is not my pen. Now, what is the possessive adjective over here? It is mine. Now, my is placed before the noun. So, what is the noun here, children? It is pen. So, I have placed the possessive adjective my before the noun pen. So, this is, in this sentence, my is the possessive adjective. But this is not mine. Now, mine again is a possession or ownership, but here it is used as a possessive pronoun because it is understood that the noun is me, myself. Therefore, I am using myself as the pronoun here, which is not mentioned but understood. So, here this is used, mine is used as the possessive pronoun. Now, next we come over to interrogative adjectives. Interrogates means to ask. So, we ask questions. It is used, and interrogative adjectives are used with a noun to ask questions. Questions like which, what, whose, and whom. Now, interrogative adjective is followed by a noun in a sentence. I hope the kinds of adjectives are clear to you, students. Next, we will come over to degrees of comparison of adjectives. Now, students, there are three degrees of comparison of adjectives: positive, comparative, and superlative. Positive degree, it denotes the mere existence of quality. Like any word which is a describing word is the positive degree. Example, Ram is a strong boy. Now, what is the positive degree over here? Strong. Strong tells us about the quality that Ram possesses, or the adjective. What kind of quality does Ram have? He is a strong boy. So the word which describes Ram as a boy is strong. Now, comparative degree is used to compare two persons or things which have the same quality. Keep in mind, children, two persons or things having the same quality, not different quality. So now, if there are two boys, Rakesh and Ram, what am I comparing between them? I am comparing the quality of strength between Rakesh and Ram. So I can say Rakesh is stronger than Ram. Next, superlative degree. Where do we use superlative degree? When two or more things or persons are compared. In comparative degree, only two persons or things having the same quality are compared. But in superlative, which is a higher degree, when two or more things or persons are compared. For example, Sham is the strongest man. Now, what is the quality which I am comparing over here? Of strength. So, strongest. Strong, stronger, strongest becomes a superlative. Now, here I am comparing Sham to all the men around, more than two people. So, the superlative degree of strong becomes strongest. Mount Everest is the strongest peak in the world. Mount Everest is one mountain, many mountains in the world, and Mount Everest is the strongest peak in the world. So I am comparing Mount Everest with more than two things. So the superlative degree of strong becomes strongest over here. Hope this is clear to you, children. Next, rule for formation of comparative and superlative degrees of adjectives. Now, there are certain rules which you have to keep in mind while comparing the degrees. Rule number one is always add ER for comparative and EST for superlative. Like for positive small, it becomes smaller, smallest, dark, darker, darkest, kind, kinder, kindest, quiet, quieter, quietest. What are we doing here, children? We are simply adding ER for comparative and ST for superlative. This is rule number one. Rule number two, where we add R and ST to form comparative and superlative only if the positive degree ends in E. Now, in the rule number one, did you find any of the positives ending in E? No. So, we simply added ER and ST to comparative and superlative. But when the positive ends with the word with the vowel E, then what happens to the comparative? It becomes just add R to comparative and ST to superlative. So safe becomes safer, safest. Able becomes abler, ablest. Next, children, rule number three. If the positive degree ends in Y preceded by a consonant, keep in mind not by a vowel, preceded means comes before, by a consonant, not by a vowel. Then the Y is changed into I before adding ER and EST. Now, let us do the example. So, the positive which is given to you is happy. Now, you have to keep in mind that this positive happy is ending with Y and it is preceded. What is coming before Y? A consonant is coming. What are consonant? All alphabets except vowels A, E, I, O, U are consonants. So this positive is ending in Y and before that, that means it is preceded by a consonant P. So we replace Y by IER for comparative and EST for superlative. So happy, happier, happiest. Noisy, noisier, noisiest. Now in noisy, Y, it is ending in Y, preceded by the consonant S. So we remove Y. For comparative, it becomes noisier. IER is added and superlative EST is added. Now rule number 4. If the positive has a single syllable and ends in a single consonant preceded by a short vowel, the consonant is doubled before adding er and est. Now, students, what do you mean by a single syllable? Now, big. I'm just saying big once. There is nothing else after big. So, big is a single syllable. Now, if the positive has a single syllable, now big is a single syllable and it ends in a single consonant. What is a single consonant in big? G. What is preceding G? It is preceded by a short vowel I. Then what happens to G? We double G. We put the whatever is given at the end, the consonant, it becomes double. So BIG becomes BIGG, and then in comparative we add ER, and in superlative we will add EST. So here big is the single syllable, ends in single consonant G, which is preceded by the vowel I. Similarly, single syllable fat. It is ending with a single consonant T preceded by a vowel A. So what happens to T? T becomes double. FAT becomes FATT, and in comparative FATT ER, and in superlative FATT EST. And thin again is a single syllable. So it is a single syllable ending with the consonant N and preceded. Preceded means before N there is a vowel I. So what happens to thin? What happens to the N in thin? It becomes double. So THIN becomes THINN. And in comparative, it becomes THINNER. And in superlative, it becomes THINNEST. I hope it is very clear to you, students. Now we will go over to rule number 5. Rule number 5 says that if it has more than 3 syllables, and the previous thing we did with 1 syllable. Now, many adjectives of more than 3 syllables form comparatives by adding more and superlatives by adding most before the positive. Now, what do you understand by 3 syllables? Listen very carefully, children. The word difficult, positive word difficult is given to you. Difficult. So 3 syllables. Difficult. Difficult. How many syllables? 3 syllables. Wonderful. Now we come over to the next positive. Wonderful. Wonderful. 3 syllables. Enjoyable. Enjoyable. So it is made up of 3 syllables. Enjoyable. Enjoyable. Difficult. Difficult. 3 syllables. Wonderful. Wonderful. 3 syllables. Whereas in big, it was just 1 syllable. Fat, 1 syllable. Thin, 1 syllable. Difficult. How many times are we opening our mouth to say the word difficult? 3 times. Difficult. Wonderful. Enjoyable. So, this has got 3 syllables. Now, in such cases where the positive has got 3 syllables, what happens to the comparative? We add the word more before the positive for comparative, and for superlative we add the word most before the positive. So difficult, comparative is more difficult, superlative is most difficult. Wonderful, more wonderful, most wonderful. Enjoyable, more enjoyable, most enjoyable. Please keep in mind for what we have to do with 1 syllable and what we have to do with 3 syllables. It is very easy once you understand the rules. Now keep in mind, some adjectives do not follow any rule, like good. Good, comparative is better, superlative is best. Many, more, most. Much, more, most. Bad, worse, worst. Late is either later or latter, or latest and last is a superlative. Old, comparative is older or elder, and superlative is oldest and eldest. This you have to keep in mind because there are some adjectives which do not follow any rule. Now, what do you understand by much? Now, much means a large quantity of, and it is used with uncountables like sugar, rice, etc. Now, many means a large number of. It is used with plurals of countables. I hope you can understand the difference. Much is used with uncountables. It is a large quantity. And many is used with plural of countables like pen, pens, pencil, pencil. So many pencils, many pens, many books. So it is used with plurals of countables. So many means a large number of, much means a large quantity of. It is used with uncountables. Later and latest, it refers to time. Latter and last refers to position. He stands last in the line. That means his position is last in the line. Now, later refers to time. Do not delay later than tomorrow. So, it is referring to a time tomorrow. Elder and eldest is used for persons mostly of same family. Older and oldest is used with reference to both persons and things. Now, farther means it denotes the distance between two points. Further means additional. Nearest means it denotes nearness in space or distance. Next means denotes order or position. You can go in next means somebody is already there. You can go in next means your position or order is after that person. Now let us do tryout 3. Now in tryout 3, good becomes better, fast, faster, bright, brightest, big, biggest, hard, hardest, much, most. Now try out 4. His dash son is an astronaut. Old. Now his eldest son is an astronaut. So what happens to the uh, degree of old? It becomes eldest. His eldest son is an astronaut. He has two children. So the eldest son is an astronaut. Number 2. This is the dash building in the colony old. Now in the colony there must be many buildings. So we are comparing more than two buildings. So old, older, oldest. We are not comparing two things, two buildings. We are comparing all the buildings in the colony. So this is the oldest, the superlative degree of oldest, oldest. Now number 3. She is as dash as I expected, sincere. Now this does not follow any rule, and where we use as, the positive remains the same. So she is as sincere as I expected. Now number 4. This plan is the dash of the two. Bad. Bad, worse, worst. Now because I am comparing two plans, the degree becomes comparative degree because I'm comparing two plans. So I use worst. I don't use worst. Worst would have been this is the worst plan. Then that means I'm comparing this plan with many plans. Then I would have used worst. But because I'm comparing only two plans, therefore I use the comparative degree of bad as worst. Now number 5. Shreya is dashed than any other singer. Now, like I told you, there are certain exceptions. Melodious. How many syllables are there in melodious? 3. Melodious. So what happens to the comparative uh, degree becomes more. Shreya is more melodious than any other singer. Number 6. Very few singers are as dash as Shreya, talented. Now, where the word as comes, the positive degree remains the same. So, very few singers are as talented as Shreya. Number 7. Shreya is one of the dash singers. Versatile. That means there are more than one singer. So, the degree becomes superlative degree. So, versatile becomes most versatile. Had Shreya been compared to just one more singer, then we would have used more versatile. Number 8. The mango is the dash fruit. Sweet. Now we know there are many fruits. I am not comparing mango only with another mango or another apple. I am comparing it with all the fruits, more than two fruits. So the mango is the sweetest fruit. Sweet, sweeter, sweetest. Sweeter would have been used if I would have been comparing a mango to just another mango or another apple. But I am comparing the mango to number of fruits. So it becomes superlative degree sweetest. Number 9. Mangoes are dashed and guavas. Tasty. Now in this example, I am comparing two things, two fruits, mangoes and guavas. So mangoes are tastier than guavas. Number 10. Which of these purses is a dash? Costly. Costly, costlier, costliest. So I am comparing more than two purses. Therefore, I use the superlative degree of costly, which is costliest. Had I compared only two purses, I would have used costlier. Number 11. Prevention is dashed and cure. Good, better, best. Now, because I am comparing two degrees in the same quality, prevention and cure, so I will use the comparative degree of good as better. Next, honesty is a dash policy. Good. Now, there can be many policies. I am not comparing two policies with honesty. I am comparing honesty to many policies. So good, better, best. Therefore, I will use the superlative degree here, best. Number 13, clouds float in the sky as they are dashed in air. Light, lighter, lightest. Clouds are being compared to air, so I use the comparative degree lighter. Number 14, no news is good news. Now, uh, there is no comparison basically. No news is good. So good remains good. Now, number 15, some people have dash money than brains. Much becomes more. Some people have more money than brains. Now, children, we have come to the end of this chapter. I hope understood all the rules, the kind of adjectives, the degrees of comparison, the rules of adding the comparative and superlative degrees. And the more you practice, children, the more you will be able to answer these kind of questions and solve these exercises properly. Now, children, I will give you a little tip. Keep reading at least 10 pages of a storybook every day. It will improve your vocabulary. Go through the dictionary also. That helps in learning new words, in which solving these kind of exercises for adjectives and all will become easier for you. If you like my video, children, please like, share and subscribe. I will definitely make more such videos in future if you like them. Kindly subscribe, children. Thank you.